right, welcome back to Cullen on Film. As you can see, I'm not Mr. Cullen, but I'm one of his students, Yazemin, and today I have three special guests. And would you guys please interview yourselves and quickly just explain who you guys are?
So my name is Haley Pine, and I did a short film, Harper's First Kiss, and Charlie and Chloe worked on the film with me.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Chloe.
Hi, I'm Charlie.
All right, awesome. So, Haley, can you tell me briefly about Harper's First Kiss? Like, what would you like the audience to know about it? And then what inspired you to pretty much write about it?
So Harper's First Kiss is about a girl with schizophrenia who believed that she was doing a school project with her friends. And by the end of the film, the mother walks in on them and realizes that her daughter is having these episodes. So she knows that her daughter has mental illness, but she thought it was slowly going away until the end of the film where she found out. But what inspired me to write this film was basically me and my mentor, Seth Chitwood, we wanted to do another film. So we were really brainstorming ideas. First off, we wanted a film inside the film.
Okay.
Which led to the idea of her doing the project with her friends. And then we wanted a twist somehow.
Got it.
And my main focus was to get teens involved because there's not a lot of work for teens nowadays because they're casting 18 and older for those roles because they can have them on set longer. So I really wanted to give teens the opportunity both on set and off the set.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, Charlie, I heard that you were part of the production assistant for the film. Can you tell me more about your experience with working on set?
Yes. So, just a background. I met Haley at the 2018 Gimme 5 Film Festival in Greenwich, Rhode Island. That's where we met. I had a music video that debuted there. But we were in touch for a few months after that because filming took place around August, around summertime. She texted me and was like, hey, like, we're looking for some extra hands. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I never worked on a student film set before. And I'm like, okay, let's help a friend out. For me, it was the first set I actually big set I got to work on. So I was like really like astonished. I was just really, it was flabbergasting in a way. I was really excited to work on it. And with the cast and the crew, it was just for someone who didn't have that much like film knowledge and is still growing even in a higher education college. It's really breathtaking just to be on a set as a high schooler, just working on with a load of talent. And for the minor role I had, it was very fun, I'll say.
Awesome. So, Chloe, tell me about your experience with acting and what was it like being Harper and portraying that role?
So, so some of you may know that like I have been acting. I have a pretty large acting experience. I've been acting since I was 7 years old, and I'm 18 now. So I've had quite a few years just kind of having different experiences within the industry and meeting a lot of cool people and making connections. And if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure I auditioned for this role on like a Skype interview or something like an online interview.
Okay, cool.
And when I found out that I was chosen for the role, I was really excited because the script was like very interesting, like reading until the end, like kind of you don't find out about the twist until the end. So I was really intrigued by it and also really excited because like Haley said, it was basically all teens working on the show or on the film, I should say. So I was just really excited to like meet some more people my age because on a lot of sets, they are just, like adults working. So I was really just excited to have this experience, and being on set was really fun. We all became pretty good friends and had a lot of laughs. And I really enjoyed doing it. So
That's awesome. So Haley and Chloe, I know that you guys acted since you were very young. I know Haley, I believe you said, Chloe, I know you said 7 years old, correct? And then I'm pretty sure 6 years old, if I'm correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So what was it like being like a child actress? What were the difficulties or the pros and cons, and how did you guys balance school? It's a heavy question.
So being so young, I tend to find myself in a room with all adults. So I think that really matured me in a way, and I learned from the adults, especially going from theater to film. It was when I reached the teen years where I saw more people interested in the same things that I was around my age group.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So I agree with what Haley said. I think growing up at such a young age and being on set with all adults and learning how to be professional, and everything is, you're working on other people's times when you're on set. So I think that matured me really fast, and also kind of figuring out how to balance being in public school also at such a young age, and kind of like that's the time when you're kind of making your friends and figuring out your social life. And so then I had to learn how to balance all of that on top of going to New York for auditions and missing school days to be on set and work. But I think it's really made me understand like time management and how to balance my life and juggle everything. So it's definitely a pro.
Awesome, that's awesome. So what inspired you guys to actually begin acting, or got you guys into acting?
So I grew up watching plays, and I wasn't really into sports as a kid. I wasn't athletic. I tried every sport in the book, but it really wasn't working. So my mom was like, "Oh, look, there's a play, Alice in Wonderland. You're blonde. Why not audition?" So I was like, okay. So I did this production. It was a community theater production. And I was like, I was absolutely blown away. I never experienced anything like this before. To be a part of a family was just incredible. The experience was so much fun. So I think that's really, as a 6-year-old, I enjoyed the fun with it. But then as I grew up, I really came to understand the passion of mine, and it really came into like a whole bigger picture for me.
So, so for me, I was put into dance when I was about 2 years old because I have an older sister who also was dancing. So it just kind of happened like that. Being so young, I just kind of, you can tell from a really young age, I just had a passion for performing and entertaining. And I was always just wanted to be the center of attention, and, always being like, "Hey mom, like, look at me in this costume, look at this dance I made up." Just stuff like that. And then when I got into acting, it was through a mutual friend who had a job offer. And I was like, I've never done anything like this, but I'll try it, just being an extra in a film. And I immediately fell in love with the process and everything about it. And then for my later years, I also participated in a lot of like local theater shows and a lot of plays, and everything just kind of took off from there.
All right, awesome. So Charlie, I heard you mention something about working. You were saying how you met Haley at a film festival for during your time like with a music video. Can you talk to me more about that?
The music video. So it was the first music video I put together. It was a cover of Malcolm Moore's "Glorious." Did it with Cardinal Spellman High School in Brockton, Mass. It was a part of it was a conjoint release with a friend of mine who was releasing a cover EP. And it contained a lot of religious songs and a few pump up tracks, like just a few like local stuff. But I heard about the film festival circuit through my mentor at the time, and she recommended me to submit to Gimme 5. I've had some connections with them doing their labs at the University of Rhode Island, and I was like, I missed out on the 2017 festival, and I didn't want to miss out on the 2018 festival, and I was very surprised I got in. I was very, very happy, and it's really just the start of what is to come. And it was really good. That project took about like 2 weeks to put together, and because I had to like go with the release of the EP and the music video, but like the actual release. But other than that, I think it definitely paid off when it came to its post-production and its festival circuit. It got into a few local places. It screened at my school as well.
All right, that's awesome. So we were all high schoolers, if not some of us still are. I know I am. So what was it like, with all these accomplishments and achievements? Did you find yourself having a lot of students and classmates recognize you for your accomplishments and what your career path is that you guys are achieving right now during school?
So with students, I don't really tell people, but I do have to let my teachers know when I'm missing a day out of school, like, hey, I'm going to the city for an audition, or I'm doing this and that. So my teachers definitely knew. And I've been in the town paper a few times for achievements. So it is recognizable. A lot of people, when they notice that you do these things, they do recognize you. But with students, not as much.
For me, I think because my kind of acting career was a lot more noticeable because when I was filming Lazy Town, I lived in Iceland for 2 years. So, basically like all of my friends, all of my teachers, a lot of like people in my grade kind of knew where I was and what I was doing. And, when I came back, it was all kind of like everyone was kind of excited about it for like a week. But I mean, all my close friends basically just like treat me as if I'm just a normal kid because I am. I really appreciate that because I like having a normal high school and college experience. So I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For me, I mean, I don't have the acting talent as Haley and Chloe. But just working behind the scenes, I mean, I really had to start from the ground up. So yeah, a lot of people noticed. I try to like get a lot of my stuff out on social media and through my high school and college. But I mean, some of my work is unnoticeable because I'm not at the tier as them, and also they're pursuing a different career path in the film industry. So I try to get my work out as much as I can, even if it's short films or music videos, get them in festival runs, debut them on YouTube. Working with people in New England. I'm trying to expand my ground at Hofstra University because that's where I go in New York City. So.
All right, awesome. So, like, what are like other passions, hobbies, interests that you guys like do, especially now that we have so much free time with the quarantine? What are like other things that you guys like to do outside of filmmaking, acting, and such?
So I do like to golf, and I actually work at my local country club. So I work as a caddy and I work in the pro shop. But that's just basically another passion for me outside of like the entertainment industry. It's a little plug for me.
Awesome.
So outside of like the singing and dancing and acting that are all kind of like my main hobbies, something that actually a lot of people don't know about me is that I went to a secondary high school for visual arts.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of just like a side passion of mine, drawing, painting, photography.
Awesome.
So especially now, like you said, that we're in quarantine, I've been painting almost every day. So it's really nice to have this time to kind of just like focus on that and, yeah.
All right.
I've been spending my time writing. I mean, for film, it's mostly screenplays, but I've been writing a lot of essays and just personal pieces. But I love to play hockey, basketball, I ran cross country and track and field in high school. So I mean, sports has always been in my blood and my family, so that's always a pastime for me.
Awesome. So you were mentioning about stuff and stuff like that. Are any of you guys currently coming up with projects or working on projects, especially during this time or right before we got into the quarantine?
So this is a really good time to write, and I've actually been writing a few short films, but there's only so much I can do now. So once I finally have the scripts and everything, I can't go out and start filming things with actors, but I have been trying to be as creative as possible and have tried to make as many stories as possible in this time.
So bouncing off of what Haley said, obviously I'm not able to like be at any sets or be a part of any filming at the moment, but I have been doing a lot of self-tape auditions that I've been sending into castings, which is really nice. I'm pretty much just doing it right in my bedroom, just setting up a light and a cell phone, and it's convenient and it's nice to still be, putting my name out there and having casting directors see me, even if it's not in person. So that's what I've been doing, yeah.
All right, awesome.
I've been writing, just taking time to just stay creatively active. I mean, quarantine's gonna be lasting for a while, so I'm working on a short film that I'm hoping to get done by the time quarantine's out. I just wrapped up on a treatment for an upcoming music video with an artist. I actually just finished the music video last week.
Okay.
So so I think music videos are easier for me to get done, but I'm kind of trying to balance out my writing and with my writing team.
All right, awesome. So Chloe, I know you mentioned that you lived in Iceland for like 2 years, you said. So can you tell me a little bit more about that experience and like, adapting to the culture, the lifestyle, the language, and such?
Yeah. So at the time I was casted to play the role of Stephanie, I was 10 years old. So that is pretty young. And like I said, I was in public school. I was in 5th grade at the time. And from the point where I found out that I'd booked a job and that I would be moving to when I actually went to Iceland was a very, very quick turnaround. I want to say it was less than a month, I think. So I just went with me and my mom went together. And that was hard in and of itself because I have a really big family and I'm really close with my family. But I think being so young and just being so excited, I never had an opportunity like this before. My whole family, especially me, I was like ecstatic about it. So I was really just happy to be doing this and to be there. And I'd never been to Iceland. At the time, it wasn't really that touristy. So living there was definitely really interesting and definitely has shaped me into the person I am today. I mean, obviously, if you guys have ever, seen anything about it or heard about it, the landscapes there are like unimaginable, so beautiful. And the language is beautiful. And actually, every morning when I was in my hair and makeup chair, my makeup artist would teach me a few words a day. So by the end of filming, I like to think that I was like pretty well with that language. I could pretty much have someone speak to me in Icelandic and understand it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm out of practice now, which is sad because it's a really cool language. But no, yeah, I was just really grateful to be kind of just like completely immersed in that culture and learn so much about a country that I'd never been to before. And to this day, I have really, really good friends that live there, and I go back every summer to visit them. So it's a really cool connection to have.
That's awesome. So everyone around here, about how old are you guys? Like 18, 19 or so?
I'm 18.
I'm 17.
Oh, 17.
I'm 19.
Oh, okay. So we got the oldest one here. All right. So pretty much like we're still pretty young, especially for the creatives industry. I know that, we see a lot of times more of the youth is usually towards the acting, especially in this industry. Can you guys tell me, like, what is it like to be so young in such an industry? I know it can be challenging sometimes, especially you can be looked down upon and not taken seriously. So tell me, how do you guys adapt?
I can't really say that I've ever been looked down upon. I feel like people have wanted to help me. Being so young, they've seen that I have such a passion for it, and they say, oh, look, try this new thing. Especially with plays and films and everything, when you're on set with older actors, they give you little tips that you'll take with you. Mm-hmm. And then especially if on film sets, helping out behind the scenes, you also learn so much. And really, the adults are really good about teaching kids.
Awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I've been on a lot of sets, and I still am really young. And I would have to say that all of the cast and crew members, like, they really are really good at giving tips of advice. And so it's kind of nice to be able to learn from them being so young. I think if I was older, maybe they would just think I already know everything. But I think the only thing that's hard about being young in this industry from an acting standpoint is that, as Haley mentioned earlier, a lot of people just like to cast 18 and over to play younger roles because it's just easier. So pretty much from ages 13 up until 17, it was like really hard to find work that really fit me and that was consistent. So I just turned 18 in November, and like I know me and like my manager, we were like celebrating it because this is like the turning point now that I'm over 18. So yeah.
Awesome.
For me, it's kind of a different story, but it really just came down to that one spark. That one like turning point when just for networking. Because going in behind the scenes in the industry, I feel like it's only the higher education, college, university through film school. That's like go to, because I grew up going in high school, didn't have any film connections, didn't have any resources, kind of was just a passion for filming on my iPhone. Until a few teachers sent me some film festivals to work at, like the Rhode Island International Film Festival, and to submit, like Gimme 5, eventually All American High School Film Festival. But getting on sets, I think, is just harder until you find like the group, like you find that Tarantino-like group. You get the people, one person, when you meet one person on a set and you vibe with them, like you're going to meet other people, and that's how you build connections. And after Harper, it really helped me out, where I got to work with Haley's mentor, Seth, and a few other people in the New England area. I actually almost got if COVID didn't happen, I was supposed to be working on a upcoming pilot with HBO, but as a production assistant, but
awesome.
that sadly got postponed. So hopefully I get some callback.
So in high school, do you guys feel like there were enough classes or clubs that helped support your career or your passion and interests?
So there is a broadcast journalism class at my school, but it's more of the journalism interviewing piece, which I'm not as much as a fan of. So I actually brought it up to my teacher and I said, why not make a film class? And he's like, oh, I'll think of it. But I would have loved to see a film class because making movies is so much different than interviewing people and wanting something that's newsworthy. It's completely different things.
So in my high school, there was very, very little, if any, options for like film classes and acting classes. I really think the only thing that was available as a good opportunity would be the school play. And that was something that my school was really good at. Every year they put on a really amazing play. But unfortunately for me, it was just such a big commitment. And I was actually a part of my school dance team, which was already a huge commitment. So just trying to mix up dance and being a part of the play as well as my outside auditioning life, it just seemed too much to do the school play. But I don't know. I think that was really the only thing that would be beneficial for the entertainment lovers.
For me, there was no film program. I was probably the only student from my class that was interested in film. There were underclassmen when I remember being in high school who were interested in like live, like broadcasting and like film work and all that. But I mean, I went to a private Catholic school, so we didn't have the resources for a film program or something very strong. So a lot of it had to be very independent. So but I did theater just to get get a taste of everything my senior year. But it was mostly through my mentor. She's working for ESPN now. Shay Sinnott. She really helped me build that passion because I mean sometimes the work you got to do by yourself, and then once you find the click, it works out for you.
Right. Yeah, because it's been a recent topic, especially the importance of incorporating creatives within the school education system and such. And would you guys say that, it's important to have that opportunity, at least that possibility of such classes so that students can at least endeavor and try it out and see if it's for them? Would you say that is important or not?
Oh, yes, 100%. Because especially as kids, we don't know our interests yet. We haven't tried everything. And for me, I wasn't into sports, but I had the opportunity to try theater. So it comes at different ages for everyone. But I think the school letting people have those opportunities is really beneficial for people to find their craft and to find what they love. So I think it's great to have all those different clubs.
Yeah, I agree, especially because from such a young age, students are all forced into taking the core classes, which is just math, science, language. And while those are important, I think having a creative outlet is just as important, which is why I had to take it upon myself to go to a secondary school where I could be there for a few hours every day and just focus on my art. And that school also had not only visual arts, but writing, dance, and music. So I think it's really important that public schools kind of try and find a way to incorporate in creative rather than just math and science and things like that.
I just say you live and you learn. I mean, high school is a time where adolescence, it's a confusing time as much as it's a very exploring time. Because we don't know what we want to do and what we want to pursue. And high schools and public schools, even private schools, should give students the opportunity to explore in these different genres, not only in the arts, but in sports and in writing and science and math. Like, we're all going to be going on different paths, and high school, any school should give kids the opportunity to explore and develop their craft so they're ready to go into the workforce.
100% agree. So going back to Harper's First Kiss, can you guys just tell me about the journey that this short film, it's award-winning, nominated short film, what has it taken you? How many opportunities have it been given to you, especially for a director, production assistant, and actress?
So it started off, I did a film that was under 5 for the Give Me 5 Short Film Festival. So I wanted to make a new film that was even longer. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted the cast even bigger. I wanted the crew even bigger. I wanted to take what I learned and my failures from the last film and turn them into something that I could use for this film. So the writing process took about a day. It took us about 2 hours to figure out the whole storyline. But once we had it on paper, we were so excited to have everyone Skype in their auditions. And then once we found the cast, it was about a 12-hour film shoot. And we edited it that night. And then we submitted to the festivals, and it was just really nice to see the amount of festivals that I got into, especially since this was only my second film. I really didn't expect it to go as far as it did, but I'm really thankful for the opportunities that it had, and it is inspiring me to create more films.
Awesome.
Yeah, same for me. I'm just really excited about all the opportunities that it's led me to, and also all the people I've met. It's really cool that today we're doing this based off something we filmed so long ago, and how the connection still stays. And that Haley will be going to NYU next year, and I also go to school in New York City. So, it's just nice to kind of make these friendships. And also, one of my most favorite kind of opportunities that Harper's First Kiss has given me is when we all met up in Brooklyn and we went to that film festival. That was a really cool event, and I also got to meet really cool people from that too. So I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities.
As I said, Harper was the gateway for me, just understanding what it's like to be a part of a higher budget production. And for being a student film, it's really impressive on the festival run it did get. And I learned a lot that I actually took on to my senior thesis that I made about a couple months later, but didn't have the crew and the resources still. But I mean, I learned a lot from Haley's direction and Steph's mentoring. And that, I still keep in touch with Haley and Chloe every now and then, just check in, and other cast members and crew members who are some of my good friends to this day. It's really helped me just shape in and get more opportunities in the New England region for film. And I'm hoping to expand that into the New York area as the years go on.
So what was it like, the emotion, the feeling, the day of actually filming on set? I know it could be nervous, it can be energetic. Can you briefly describe what it was like?
It was so fun. I actually got to eat that day, fun fact. But it's just the adrenaline. You're really excited to meet everyone. We arrived about an hour before the cast got there. And then when the cast arrived, we got them in wardrobe. But it was really just go, 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 go. You really wanted to be on time. We only had one day to film this entire production. So we wanted to make sure everything was going well, everything was on time. But it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. Sometimes you forget where you are. You're so into it. And you really want to make everyone involved really wants to make it as successful as possible. And I really do appreciate the people who worked on the set with me. It really shows your friends, and you're really not alone. No matter if you're an actor or a filmmaker, there's so many people who are always willing to collaborate with you for the same passions that you have.
Yeah, so for me, I remember when me and my mom were in the car driving on the day of the shoot. Like you said, going into it, you can be filled with a lot of nerves at first, just because these are new people that you're meeting, and you're jumping into meeting them for the first time, working with them. And then also on top of that, I wanted to make sure that I knew all my lines and that I had memorized them all, and I just wanted to feel ready to go. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, it was really nice because everyone provided such a warm welcome, and everyone was really excited to get this day started. And I think throughout the day, we all were just bouncing off each other's energies. And I know I was getting inspired from the passion that Charlie and Haley have. So I think we're all just bouncing off each other and learning from each other. And it ended up being a really fun day.
That's awesome.
I was excited. I could just say that. I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. New first film, let's go. 12 hours later, I passed out. Got sick. I got sick the day after shoot, but that was because the week before I was working as a youth juror and a judge at the Rhode Island International Film Festival. So I was already busy, and then Haley last minute's like, "Hey, we need a PA," and I'm like, "All right, bet I'll take it." But I was very drained right after set. But the excitement and just learning about everyone's backgrounds and kind of getting to know Haley a little bit more. And one of my favorite memories was when I was just talking to everybody. I remember I had a conversation with Chloe, and I was asking everyone their backgrounds. Yeah. And then she said, "Oh, she was Stephanie from Lazy Town." Mm-hmm. That made me, I was like, "No, you're not." And I looked, then you go on Google, and I'm like, "Oh, how was I going to know?"
Yeah, so, I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that people, I don't know, because it's just not something I talk about right away. I'm kind of humble when it comes to So it's funny seeing people's reactions when the ball drops.
Right. So I know, especially like on set, when you start doing these projects, you pretty much become really close friends with the people you work with. And you were explaining just now, like, a good memory that you have. Are there like any inside jokes that you were able to create during the time? And like, what were your best memories in the process of creating Harper's first kiss? Excuse me.
Inside jokes. I don't know if we had any inside jokes.
I don't remember any.
But I met Charlie, like he said earlier, I met him at one film festival. And I had his contact, and I was like, why not invite him into this film? And I'm so happy I did, because I've also helped him with his stuff. Awesome. And we're really just bouncing back and forth on each other's sets, helping each other out. But it's nice to see where everyone's going. Also, I've seen Chloe. I see her TikToks all the time, and I see her Facebook posts and everything. But it's really nice to see the people you work with, where they end up going, because we're also, even though we're all part of the same industry, we all live in different states. Yeah. So it's really nice to see where everyone is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've also been loving following everyone's journey and seeing what they're doing and where they're going. But one memory that kind of sticks out is just when we were all in the break room. Like, we were all just like going back and forth, laughing and getting to know each other. And kind of when we weren't filming and getting to like talk about our personal lives and, like Charlie said, our backgrounds and just learning about each other. That was really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, I pretty much said that memory as is, but on set, I remember one time on set, it was right when the kiss scene was about to happen. I accidentally, my phone went off, and Seth got mad. And yeah, I was like really embarrassed, because I was giving my contact information to the gaffer of the shoot, and I was like, oh no, I messed up the take. I thought I was getting kicked off set. I was like getting that paranoia, the first time on set paranoia.
So I don't even remember that. So you're good.
So Haley, you said that you worked with Charlie in other projects. Can you name any, and like exactly what was that like?
So he just did. He can talk about this a little more, but he just did a music video, "Lose You to Love Me," which I helped as a production assistant on.
Awesome.
Yeah, so as we can see, I do music videos in the New England area, mostly around Massachusetts. I had a friend of mine contact me. Her name's Allie O'Leary, rising artist. She's just she was doing a few cover songs, and she ended up doing Selena Gomez's "Lose You to Love Me," and I'm like thinking, okay, this is the first chance I can like take the steps that Haley took for Harper and incorporate in a music video. It can get done quick. We have the shot list. We had a whole team. Some people from Harper were helping out, and that came out amazing. I'm very proud of it. It got Ithaca. It got a semifinalist at the Ithaca Student Film Festival back in February. It's around 1,500 views on my channel. It's doing pretty well. And right now, actually, me and Haley, we met up around March, just before quarantine hit Massachusetts and Rhode Island. We were in a writer's circle with one of the directors and cinematographers for "Lose You to Love Me," and we were planning out our next scripts. So we every now and then we'll always text each other and bounce off ideas. And I think that's one of the sets I remember that was my music video. But I'm hoping that she can work on a short film come fall.
All right, awesome. So Haley and Chloe, I know you guys are like a jack of all trades. I know Haley, filmmaking, directing, acting, and Chloe, dancer, singer, and actress. Tell me, what's it like balancing all these like activities and passions and career paths?
Well, I definitely feel that, especially with directing and acting, they both influence each other. And when I do one thing as an actor, it influences what I will do as a director. I really learn from both sides. So balancing it hasn't been hard. I usually do video auditions and everything else, but when I'm not doing that, I try to keep myself busy and write a script or try to get on other film sets. But I really try to do both as much as possible because I have an extreme passion for both.
Yeah, so I really like to use all of these things as creative outlets. I mean, acting is a blast in and of itself, and just being on set and kind of everything we've been talking about. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious the reason we all love it. It's just so much fun to be around these people and do what you love to do. But I have been dancing my whole life, and it's like therapeutic kind of to me. I don't know. It's always been a passion too. And same with singing and same with art. Like they all just kind of tie into each other. And, you know, it's a way for me to get my emotions out and kind of just have that creative outlet.
Yeah, cool. So both of you and Charlie, I don't know if you guys, you mentioned you didn't act much, but like compared to theater and then TV production, when it comes to acting, they're pretty different in the sense that, all right, you have live performance, making mistakes, and then you have the TV film production side of it. Do you guys have a preference or one that you lean towards more?
I don't really have a preference. Both are completely different. You have the theater where it's everything's go, go, go. Every performance is different. But then you have the film where every take is different. And you might use one take, but you might lose another. So it's really film. You can definitely go back. You say, oh, I don't like how this came. Let's do it again. So you have so many chances in film, when as theater, you don't. You just do it for that one audience. And that one audience is only going to be there that night on that day. So do the best you can. Right. So really, it's two different types of approaches. Especially, I think film acting is also just much more genuine, and it's so much more smaller than you're on a stage. Let's be as big as possible. Let's try to entertain the audience. So it's also different on that aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so going off of what Haley said, when I was younger, I really loved to do both. But I find that now that I'm kind of growing older and kind of growing into what I like and just kind of changing myself, I think I do have a preference for TV film. It's something that I can't really explain. I think it's just, I don't know. I don't remember the last time I did play acting, just because I think I've just known for a while that I really like TV film. And also, like Haley was saying, theater acting is so big and so entertaining, whereas TV film is smaller and more genuine and more intimate, kind of with the camera and the actors around you. That's just something that I lean towards more, I guess.
Okay. So, go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, sorry. Because I can kind of relate with the acting, because my senior year of high school, I did theater acting, because I'm like, it's senior year just for fun. Right. But speaking from the behind the scenes and directing and understanding the elements that go into acting, I've learned that, I mean, being in front of the camera, it's less intimidating because you're not in front of an audience. So lines isn't really a problem, I guess. But I would say acting, regardless on the stage or behind or in front of the camera, it's it requires precision, and you got to get into that character, and you got to really develop it to not only your vision but the director's vision too. And the actors are just so talented because they're able to just turn themselves into someone completely different, and that's just the beauty of watching some of Haley and Chloe's work from their reels.
Yeah. So, Haley, I know that one of your first productions is called Desperate Anything Helps. Is that really what kickstarted your filmmaking career? And can you tell me what inspired you to write it and create it?
Yes. So that was it. That was the first time I was directing. I had been on other sets before as a production assistant, but this was the first time I could do everything. I could cast it, I could write it, I could direct it, I could get the props together, scouting locations. There's so much that I had to do for this film. So what inspired me to write it is it's about a girl who's trying to chase a guy, and she's basically changing her outfits every time she sees him on hope of getting his attention. So it really goes to show the bigger meaning behind it is how people change themselves, not just for a significant other, but for teachers, for friends. People are so easily influenced by society around them that they want to just change themselves. And in reality, that's just, you have to be yourself, especially in this industry. So by the end, she finds someone who likes her as she is. She was a very quirky person, but she finally found the true meaning and how she should never change who she was. So that was basically the start of it. It was only about 3 minutes long. It had to be under 5 for a specific film festival. But I had so much fun writing it that I had to do Harper. I had to continue.
So Chloe, have you ever directed or written any short film projects of your own, or do you plan to?
Good question. Have I ever? No. And do I plan to? It's not something that I necessarily see in my future. I'm a freshman in college right now, and I'm going for entertainment management.
Okay.
So I am doing another side of the acting world, but kind of like the management side. But directing really inspires me. I mean, I've been on so many sets with so many amazing directors, and a lot of them are really good at what they do. Although I don't plan to do it, I mean, it's still something that's really cool to watch.
Awesome. So, Charlie, I know you were saying about the music videos, and that's where you started, and you had the opportunity to work as production assistant with Haley, and you're working on collaborations. Are you planning to direct one of your own, like, little short films or even bigger?
Yes. I have not talked that much about my short films, but they're mostly smaller. I like not run and gun type projects, but more like very small crews. Sometimes it's usually just me and an actor. I just put out a film. I was going to give it a festival run, but just because of quarantine, I was going to wait. I just put out a film called Persona, and it's about a person speaking to his conscious and trying to figure out where he belongs in society and within himself. I also worked on another film called Images about a photographer who has a dark secret. So I put those together during school. Images is currently up for, I think it got accepted to the Boston Screaming Ostrich Film Festival. I got an early acceptance from there.
Awesome.
And I was very happy because, I mean, not a lot of beginner college films get into those big, well-known cult film festivals. But other than that, I mean, some of my films have gotten recognition, and I'm very happy. One that so I know Harper got into All-American High School Film Festival back in October. One of my short films did as well. It was called Star, and it was about a person trying to figure out how to find confidence in themselves. So it was a personal film for me because I had just anxiety and figuring out myself in high school, and it was my swan song for my high school and my adolescent chapter of my life, and put together with a few friends of mine. And it's an experimental piece, but I think getting the LA CineFest semi-finalist and the acceptance at All-American really just shows how proud I am with just making my own films, even though I don't talk about them that much.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so can you guys one more time just announce like the university you guys are attending and what your major is, and then explain to me what are your current career goals and aspirations?
So I will be going to NYU next year, and I will be majoring in drama and then minoring in TV and film production. So my goal in life, I would love to do both. A few people I look up to is Adam Sandler and Tyler Perry, who they just do it all. They produce, they direct, they act. So that's really where I would love to be in like 20 years. But that's where my journey will continue.
For me, I go to Pace University in New York City, and I'm majoring in arts and entertainment management. So for now, I'm just like focusing on getting my degree, and I think an ultimate goal with that would be eventually owning and operating my own business, my own management talent group. But also at the same time, since I am living in New York City, I'm weekly auditioning and just going out on new projects, whether they're commercials, TV, films, and I'm having fun with it right now, but also I'm waiting for maybe that one big role that I booked that kind of changes everything. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just kind of going with the flow for now. So.
Okay, awesome.
I go to Hobbies University. It's in New York City, particularly Long Island. I'm a film studies and production major, so still sticking with the film and sticking on that road. I'm pretty much trying to perfect my craft right now, and I think home for writing really helps with my screenwriting talents. But I'm hoping by the time quarantine's over and we get back on campus, I can put together one of my works I wrote in isolation. But I am also a radio host on 88.7 FM WRHU.
Awesome.
And I hosted when I was hosting, I was doing an hour station called Alternative Nation, playing old and old and new alternative music. But I said before, I was about to go on set for an HBO pilot. So I was just about to kickstart on set productions and go into those bigger names, and even student films. I helped out on one or two. So I'm still making my way. And it takes time. So.
Right. Yeah. So can you guys, it seems like all you guys had the experience of a mentorship, or if you still do have a mentor, can you explain to me the importance that had, being able to get in contact with your mentor and the opportunities they provided for you?
So my mentor, Seth Chitwood, he actually goes to AFI right now in California, but we were really good friends. We were actually neighbors. We found out we were both in the same interests. And I shadowed him on a few of his sets. I was in a few of his web series. And he really helped me because when I wanted to start my own film, I said, "Oh, hey Seth, can you please help me?" He knew everything. He knew what to do. He knew how to get actors. So he really, really helped me. I can't thank him enough. He really helped me jumpstart this. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
So as I mentioned, I got a manager when I was 7, and that's kind of how everything started. And so I'd say that my manager, Paul, is like my mentor because she really knows everything there is to know about this business. And she is so invested in me as her client and just doing what she does. She loves it so much. And she works around the clock, and she really is just interested in having my interests at heart. So she's the best. And I consider her a close friend now. Our moms are really good friends. I'm friends with her entire family. It's just become something way more than just client-manager relationship. And I'm really grateful for all the wisdom that she's passed down to me and how she looks out for me in this industry because, this industry can be hard and there's a lot of people that will want to bring you down, but she's someone that I can rely on that will always have my back. Awesome. And as far as acting mentorships, I have spent a lot of time in New York and LA and just within all of my travels, talking to different actors and taking classes and just learning from what these professionals, all their experiences and their tips and tricks for this industry. So I've kind of just learned a little bit from everyone as I kind of made my way. Yeah.
Awesome.
I've had a few mentors throughout my time, but there's 3 that stand out for me because they've really helped me impact the road I'm on today. The first mentor from Bridgewater Television, Jeff Fowler, he got me into TV. I didn't know the difference between the film and the TV industries, like live broadcasting versus single camera productions. But he helped me spark the interest with professional TV equipment locally. And I still keep in contact with him to this day. Another one of mine, Shay Sinnott, who was my communications director from my high school. I only got to know her for 1 year, but that 1 year changed everything. She taught me about the unions. She taught me about film festivals and how to start up a production and how to gather ideas and pretty much conform and create a film and just kind of really pursuing bigger productions without really, if you couldn't get kids from your high school, try to get people outside of your high school and try to work around who you can get. And I still keep in touch with her. I could not thank her enough because I would not be anywhere with her. Truly. And then right now in college, my professor, William Jennings, he's one of my, I would say he really made me push myself. And just anything that's nitpicky, his criticism really helped me be a stronger filmmaker and more of a perfectionist. And his work, and even with my writing, he challenges me a lot, and those challenges help me become a better filmmaker and a better writer and cinematographer, director, and editor. He told me he's like, most people couldn't edit. I edit on Premiere and Avid Media Composer, and he's like, yeah, you're gonna edit on Avid, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it, and you're gonna push yourself, and you're gonna make it. And his motivation, he's helped me stay on foot and keep my head high.
Awesome.
But my family, though, they're the real mentors. I'll say that.
Yeah. Family is very important, especially it's such a career. It can be rigorous being part of it. You also need that support, family, friends. That always helps you out. So, lastly, we got 10 minutes left. I want you to shout out any plugins about any current projects that you guys are taking part of or directing and such that you want to let people know about so they can go ahead and check it out.
So I do have a website, haleypine.com. I also have an IMDb and a Facebook, Haley Pine Actress. So normally all my updates and everything will be on my website.
All right, awesome.
They're coming out.
So actually, I kind of have a lot in the works for me at the moment. I have a new music single that will be dropping actually on Thursday called Is It Love? So that will be available on all platforms coming this Thursday. And as it was mentioned a little bit earlier, I have a new film that will be coming out in the beginning of June, sometime around there, on demand, called The Fifth Borough, where I played the lead character. And I worked with a lot of cool people on that film as well. And I guess just in general, for like updates, if you guys want to follow me, my Instagram and my YouTube and my webpage and all that good stuff is Chloe5Lang. And as Haley mentioned, I also have a TikTok where I post a lot of funny things at Chloe Max Lang. So, give me a follow if you want to stay tuned.
Awesome.
I have a website. It is www.flyingcardproductions.com. I post all my short films and music videos public. I just said I put together one last week. AWOL, Please Come Back, new single by him. I directed the music video, something we did during just snuck out of the house and out of quarantine restrictions and just getting something done. Give that a look, and also the Lose You Love Me music video and film reel. I mean, anyone who's out to collab, I'm always open. Instagram is Nordy137. And yeah, just reach out to me and we can see what magic we can create.
All right, so now that we got a couple minutes left, is there anything like advice-wise that you would give to young artists such as yourselves? I mean, or your younger self in such a career?
I definitely have one. I think the failures are where you learn the most. So instead of taking failures as a negative thing, take them, use them, and apply what you learned from your failures into your next project or what you do next. Those are going to be your most valuable lessons that you will ever learn. And also, don't let anyone tell you that you're not good enough or anything like that. Always remember to be positive.
Yeah, so kind of adding on to what Haley said, I think that you do learn a lot from your failures, and that sometimes a lot of people around you, if they don't really understand the passion that comes with this industry, then they kind of don't get it why you're doing it, what you're doing, because, a lot of people, like we were saying, it's not really that offered in high school. So a lot of people don't know about this career path. So it's easy for people to want to bring you down, but you really just have to block that out and just know that if this is really what you want to do and this is really your passion, then you have to follow it. And that no matter how many times you fail, hard work will always pay off in the end.
Craft is key, and ambition will strive to success. 100% of the films you make now are not going to be as good as the ones you make the next. And that all your failures, you're going to fail at every project, but your successes is what's going to help you with the next project. And that you can't let anyone stop you from perceiving your passion, as it has tried tempting me many times. You just got to keep striving and don't give up. Even if no one's going to help you, you just keep pushing and try to get your work out there, because your vision and your ambition is what's going to drive you into this industry.
Yes, that's correct.
There's also a lot of rejection in this industry also. And normally people like to back away from rejection. And when they do get rejected, they stop completely. But instead use that as a motivator.
Yes, I fully agree with that. So thank you guys so much. It was an honor to interview you guys. You guys are like amazing, talented creators, especially being so young. So you guys are our future for our creative industries. And it was amazing. It's a great interview. It was nice meeting you all. And hopefully we can meet again and talk again. Make sure
Thank you very much.
Their websites and the social media. I mean, TikTok, huge platform. Go ahead and follow Chloe. Check out Haley on her website and Charlie on his social media and website. Thank you all so much. And that's it for Colin on Film.